Hi and welcome back to the Film and TV channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. And today we're going to look at a little crime drama series that first appeared on HBO and is now on Amazon Prime. We're going to have a look at something called Tokyo Vice. Please, if you are new to the channel, enjoy what I do. I try and inform and entertain on these vlogs with these drama reviews and film reviews and information vlogs, etc. So if you could subscribe if you're not already done, so that'd be great. Pass the word, and of course, if you give us a thumbs up or a like, make an old TV watcher very, very happy. Yes, Tokyo Vice, 8 times 65-minute episodes, created by J.T. Rogers, based on the 2009 book of the same name by Jake Adelstein. Yeah, so obviously this guy is central to this story. I believe there's a bit of doubt whether it's true or not, but his claim it's true anyway. So we're not worried about that. We're looking at it as a drama. We're not looking at it as a documentary or true life thing. We're just looking at it as an action crime drama. Well, not so much action, crime drama. I'll come back to that later on. It premiered on April the 7th, 2022 on HBO Max. And as I said, I watched it on Amazon Prime on the 4th of June 2022. So all the scores I'm going to give you are at that date. Rotten Tomatoes audience, they quite liked it. 8.6 out of 10. That's not bad. That's positivity. That's 86% positivity. So it would get a slightly less than that mark if you looked at it from a pure marking point of view. But if you want a mark, Internet Movie Database, how about this? 8.1 out of 10. That's Joe Public, and yes, 11,520 people scored it between 6 and 9, and 485 between 2 and 5. So, yeah, 90. If you take that as percentages, that's 96% positivity, which is very, very high. And yes, didn't surprise me starting watching this series, but by the end of it, it did surprise me just a little bit. It stars Ansel Elgort as Jake Adelstein, Ken Watanabe as Hiroto Katagiri, Rachel Keller as Samantha Porter, Hideaki Ito as Jin Miyamoto, Sho Kazamatsu as Sato, Ella Rumpf as Polina, Rinko Colucci as Emi Maruyami. And what's it about? Well, it's 1999, so yeah, there's a couple of critiques before about things, but I don't think they realised it was set in 1999, because it does look quite modern, but we're talking Japan here, we're talking Tokyo, so in 1999 it probably did look like the 2020s over the rest of us in the Western world. It's about American journalist, as we've said, Jake Edelstein, who was relocated to Tokyo, must pass a written exam in Japanese to have the chance to join the staff of a major Japanese newspaper. We don't really find out what his motives are for that in this. In fairness, why he wanted to do it. I mean, there's enough newspapers in the US. A bit odd. I might have missed it, but I don't think he gave us his motivations. He succeeds in becoming their first foreign-born journalist and starts at the very bottom. Well, don't you always? Taken under the wing of a veteran detective in the Vice Squad, he starts to explore the dark and dangerous world of the Japanese. Yeah, a lot of people are comparing it to a Japanese version of Miami Vice, but not really. The critics, what do they think of it? So what the public thought, pretty positive. Well, the critics are positive as well. 86% positivity rating on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics. An average rating of 7.6 out of 10, based on 40 critics. The website's consensus reads, Tokyo Vice's protagonist is its least interesting element. Yeah, but a few people comment that. They go on, but the intrigue of Japan's underworld and the verisimilitude, there's a new word, I have no idea what that means, of its setting make for a seductive slice of neo-noir. Anita Singh, though, of the Daily Telegraph, she didn't like it very much. She said, it feels all dated as Miami Vice's fashions, all as dated as Miami Vice's fashion sense. Bit mean. We've had a new Miami Vice as well, haven't we? So she might be getting mixed up. Christina Newland liked it a little bit more. She writes for the Empire magazine and said, with style, intelligence and mystery to spare, Tokyo Vice is a kind of sprawling crime drama that actually lives up to the label of prestige TV. So, can't really get two sort of so diametric, so opposite points of view from journalists there. Metacritic, the other site we'll look at, the other critic site, score of 75 out of 100. So all hands down, it's doing very, very well. That's based on 27 critics. So what about me? I'm not a critic. I'm just Joe Public. interested. If I'd done this after 2 or 3 or 4 episodes, it was slightly different. But I've had to, obviously, as I'm watching it, I make little notes and stuff like that. Then I have to sort of revise things based on what happens in the thing. I did watch this all in a couple of sittings. I watched it one afternoon and another afternoon, so binge watched it over a couple of sittings. And yes, if this was a story perhaps set in a big US or a big UK city, for instance, it wouldn't be that special, I don't think. But because we don't really see that much coming over from Tokyo, if you like, from a crime drama point of view, from a police and journalist point of view, the context of that made it give it sort of legs to be interesting. But as I said, the plots and the characters, certainly the characters in it are, obviously have been set outside of Japan, in the US or the UK. I don't think I would have been that bothered, in all fairness. It was a struggle as it was with the characters. There's not many I actually liked in this series. I think the intelligent but naive US journalist role plays okay. That's fair enough. You'd expect that from a young lad. A lot of people have criticised the actor in this and said he's not worthy playing it. Some people said he did a great job. Again, bit marmitey, but as I said, overall people are positive. I mean, the storylines and plots are not groundbreaking. If anything, they're quite interesting because they're not that obviously dark, but they are, if you know what I mean. As it progresses, it's just, it's all about debt companies and obviously trying to get money off people. If they don't get money off people, what happens? It's nothing groundbreaking. It's just the way they do it. It's quite clever, in a way. And of course, so it doesn't add any sort of action or any sort of things like that. But we get the Yakuza, so the gangsters, of course, the gangster side of Japan as well, which is quite scary. Obviously, as I said, this is set in '99. I'm sure it's not changed too much now. And we get to look at a bit of the Japanese culture. And a couple of people commented it's not a bad look. It's not, it's not too over the top. It's just about right. And it's this Japanese, of course, gangster style slant that keeps you intrigued. Certainly, early episodes, that's for sure. It is a little slow paced, and it does actually slow down rather than build to some sort of climax as we get towards the end of the episodes 5 and 6. It just all sorts of slows down just a little bit more as well. So that'll put a lot of people off. And as I say, although it's set over 20 years ago, there's a modern feel to it because it is Japan. And this confused some watchers who were commenting about cigarette chain smoking. Obviously, people smoked a lot more cigarettes 20 odd years ago, so it's probably right with the time. But obviously, people complained about that. But as I said, I think they were a bit confused as to the timing of it because it did look quite modern. It didn't look like 20 odd years ago. If you don't like subtitles as well, I'm afraid there's a lot of subtitles in this. A big portion of the film is subtitles. So, and switching from one to the other very, very quickly as well, which I always find a little bit hard, but because sometimes I'm not fully focused when I watch these things. If it's a streaming thing, I might be doing other bits and pieces as well. So it is a big portion of this is subtitled, but certainly authenticity-wise, excellent, no problem. I think the series, as I said before, I think the series just runs out of steam towards the end. I mean, a time when you want the plots and the subplots and the storylines to be coming to an end and getting sorted out, it all gets a bit messy and inconclusive. And it's a bit unsatisfying from a viewer's point of view. I mean, all right, we can have a second series, of course we can, but there's so many loose ends not tied up. It just ruins it a little bit. It is very annoying. It is. A couple of people commented on it, and I found it annoying as well by the last episode. You think, oh, is there another episode? And there isn't. It ends, and you're a bit disappointed. Certainly after you've invested 6 times, 1 hour, 10 minutes. So it's not as though, it's a short amount of time. So that was a disappointing element in it. As I said, it had a lot of plus points. Certainly, say episodes 1 to 4. And then by 5, it started. It was okay, but by episode 6, it all became a bit bitty and a bit unsatisfying, as I said. So I am going to give it a 6 out of 10, just based on the early watch and the uniqueness and the quirkiness of it. And I will give it a 6 out of 10 watchable, but in all fairness, if I was just scoring the last couple of episodes, it wouldn't have got anywhere near that. So be careful watching it. As I said, don't don't be too frustrated by the ending. You've been warned now that it doesn't conclude anything. The stories are there. The stories are still ongoing when it does get to the end of the series, which is odd. Is odd in any CV series. You're all right. Of course, you have loose ends because you want a sequel. You want another series, but there's just far too many in this, and it just all seems a bit odd. I'm sure the book wasn't like that. I'm sure the books wasn't. If it was one book or more books, I'm not sure, but I'm sure the books didn't leave it like this, because what was the point? You've got to bring to some sort of conclusion, because it just ruins the whole effect. Let me know what you think, guys. Anyway, I've gone on a bit long about this one now, but it's just such a quirky one. As I say, started so well and ended not so good. So 6 out of 10. Anyway, let me know what you think, guys, if you get to watch this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, I only ask one thing. Don't until we meet again. Please stay safe, everyone. Again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.